support a lot of that, like Microsoft SQL or MySQL, and connected as well with the Microsoft Exchange server to send the authentication or the enrollment emails to the users. Okay, and we connected as well for the LDAP sync agent. Okay, so as you can see here, the LDAP sync agent is responsible for synchronizing the user from the Active Directory to the SaaS. Okay, through you can see all the ports here as well. Once we finish the installation of the first SaaS server, you can deploy the secondary one on the in the secondary site, and then the replication will happen, and you can see exactly the same interface on both servers. Okay, so as you can see here in the DMZ area, there is another SaaS installation, but it's only responsible for the self-service and self-enrollment. So what is the self-service and self-enrollment? Those service is responsible for the token activation. Why we installed it in the DMZ? Because if the user is outside the organization and they want to activate their tokens, so they will need to reach those services. So the self-service or the self-enrollment. So that is why we installed those services in the DMZ region, and it will have access only to the database. So as you can see here, it only has access to the Microsoft SQL database over port TCP 1443. Okay, and it's the same in the installation in the DR site. Okay. As you can see here on the SaaS database and the SaaS server, we can install the NPS agent or the NPS service on the same SaaS server. What is better to make it standalone or in the same SaaS server? It's up to if you install the NPS on a separate server. So this NPS, you will achieve like that double high availability. So the NPS on the separate server will be, if it falls, so the secondary one will be able to reach the first and the secondary SaaS server. So it will depend more on the high availability. But if you install it in the same SaaS server, it will work and do the high availability job as well. So you can consider it the SaaS server. It's the same as a Redis server. It's handling the Redis authentication. Okay. Okay. So now we will jump to the features. So what you see here, it's all the features. So in the next slide, we will discuss all of these features in details, but you can depend on this slide to summarize all the SaaS features. So for the first one, it's the fully automated management. So in the SaaS, you just define the policy once, and after that, it will work automatically. You will not need to do any changes unless required. So we will discuss what kind of policy can be applied later. For automated user and token lifecycle administration. So automated user, that means the automation of the synchronization of users from the user source to the SaaS server, which will be stored on the SaaS database. As the token lifecycle, so from assigning the token to the users, the activation, the termination when the user leaves the organization. Automated alerts and reporting. So depend on if there are any changes on the SaaS portal, so there will be automated alerts which will be sent to the administrator. Also, there can be like a automated reported which can be sent to the administrator. We will discuss it in the next slide. The second thing, the broad use case support. So we support a lot of use cases. There is specific link which I will show you later, which show you how the SaaS can be integrated with a lot of use cases, including the VPN from any vendor, the virtual desktop, any cloud applications, the network access, or is there any portals. We support as well a broad choice of 2FA methods and tokens, so SMS, hardware tokens, mobile application. Even we support third-party tokens like Google Authenticator, or even third-party hardware tokens. For the standard-based security, all our software tokens, it's FIPS validated. Okay, of course, FIPS level 1. As I said, we can integrate with the hardware security module, the HSM, for the database protection and tokens protection. We support a protocol called DSKPP. It's responsible for securing the channel while the token enrollment. So, for example, when you are activating your mobile application token, all that channel will be encrypted between you and the SaaS server. For the shared services with multi-tier and multi-tenant, so this is a special feature in the SaaS, which differentiated from all other technologies in the market. So the SaaS is supporting the multi-tenant configuration. What multi-tenant means? That you can configure if you have like a test environment, production environment, or if you have like a different user sources, you can configure the SaaS server to be integrated with different user sources to apply different security policies in each tenant. So this is the beauty of one of the beauty of the product of the SaaS on-prem solution. Okay, so now we will pass quickly on the features. So this is kind of more details on the features, but we already discussed. So for the automated management, as I said, for the user synchronization and token lifecycle, the self-service portal we discuss in the next slide, the alerts and reporting. For the user synchronization, we can, through the sync agent, it's synchronizing the user every 20 minutes. We can use a lot of user sources like a SQL, SQL database, or LDAP Active Directory, etc. Even if there is no specific, like the users can be saved in a specific what it's called Excel file, so we can bring this file and import it to the SaaS server, and import it to the SaaS server, and we can apply as well the auto provisioning. The auto provisioning, it means depend on the groups which the user belongs to. I can assign for him a specific kind of token, as we will see in the next slide. So as you can see here, we have the directory server, whatever it is, and we have the LDAP agent. So the LDAP agent will synchronize the user to the SaaS every 20 minutes, and based on the user belong to which group, he will be assigned a specific kind of token. So whatever it's mobile application or SMS token or hardware token. So I can make the policies depend on the user groups. And after I make this, this is called, by the way, auto provisioning policy. And after the auto provisioning policy, the user will start in the token activation. Okay. So the token activation, I will show it to you as well and how it's being done. But it's the token activation is the process of the. So you will make your token able to generate OTP. It's mainly for the software token or the mobile application token. After you have your token activated, you will now be able to authenticate to the enterprise resources and gain access to the enterprise resources. Okay. So this is a kind of the what is happening from the token life cycle. So when the new user joins the user store, he will receive a self-enrollment email to activate his token. Once after the activation, of course, the user will be able to use his token. And if he, for example, moved from one group to another group, so he will have a different kind of tokens depending on the requirements. When the user leaves the company, automatically the token will be removed from the user, so he will not be able to use the token anymore. Okay, so this is all the life cycle of the token. This is the kind of the self-enrollment process. So this is the user will receive an email for the token activation with, as you can see here, go to the following URL to enroll with SafeNet authentication service. Once you click this link, you will open this specific website from where you can download the mobile pass, whatever on your PC or in your mobile phone. Once you install this software either on your mobile phone or on your PC, so you will be able to enroll your mobile pass token. So once you click this token, the enrollment process will start. And after that, you will have your mobile application activated and you'll be able to gain one-time passwords. Okay. There is a self-service portal. Through the self-service portal, you will be able to do different functions, but I can consider the most important one is request a token. Through what does it mean, request a token? If you are not a part from specific groups in the Active Directory, but you need to have a token to gain access to the company resources. So you can access the self-service portal, request a token, then this request will go to the SaaS, and the administrator of the SaaS must approve this request. After the administration, there can be several levels of approval, maybe more than one administrator. After these approvals, the user will have the enrollment email and start the enrollment process as I show you in the last slide. Okay. For the alerts and automated proactive management, what does it mean? So any changes in the SaaS policies or any, so if, for example, if there is a kind of threshold wrong authentication happened, I can configure it. For example, if I have like 100 wrong authentication happening, please send me an email or alert through email or through SMS text message. Okay, so the two main points I can highlight here. If there any change happened in the SaaS policies happens, I can get an alert. Or if there any like a failed logins attempts happens, I can get as well a notification for that. Or as in the next slide, there will be a reporting as well. So from the reporting, there is over 40 out-of-the-box templates for the reports, which can be automatic delivery for the, depending on a specific time. I can get it weekly or monthly. There is a categories in the reporting as well. So from one of these categories, it's regarding the compliance. So I can see from as a result from this report if I am following the specific compliance or no. And last thing is the unified audit trail, so I can see all what happens in the configuration changes in the SaaS. Okay. For the use cases, okay, as I said, we can cover the VPN, the software as a service, the local network access, virtual environments, which is the VDI, the web portals. You can, if you click this link, you will be able to see a lot of integrations already documented on our portal. So you can have more experience how you can integrate SaaS with different products. For the tokens, we support different methods. You can use if the user don't have like a OTP or OTP method yet, he can use a static password either assigned by the SaaS or he can use the domain password. We support the OTP push through the mobile application. We support hardware tokens, third-party hardware tokens, Google Authenticator, SMS. You can even get the as a backup way for the SMS. You can get the OTP value through email. You can have the OTP through voice, but this one for the voice, it's through the SMS. But in this method, you will have like a kind of instead of the SMS gateway, you will have a kind of a voice technology to convert the SMS message to a call and then deliver it to the user. Adopting is the pattern-based, we called it the grid sure token. It's a tokenless method. I will show it to you in the next slide. This is the user experience for the push OTP. So first, the user will put his username, and then he can either make the choice of who to send the OTP or enter OTP manually. If he choose like auto send OTP, that means like triggering the push notification. When the user gets the push notification in his phone, he has two options, either to approve or deny. If he approves, simply he will get access to the resources. By the way, as I said, the push notification is a part of the mobile application, mobile pass. So you can use the OTP from the mobile pass, or you can use the push notification. This is the user experience for the grid sure. Okay, so the grid sure, first thing, user will need to choose specific pattern. Okay, he will simply can see this grid at the beginning, and then he will need to select specific pattern. Okay, so like that one. So this is the first value, second value, third value, and every time the user will the user will need to enter the values in this field. So every time these fields, the values inside this field will change, but the user will need to strict to these fields. As you can see here, for example, after the field change, so he choose this pattern, so he will need to enter dir 182 as the OTP, and next time this field will be with different values, but he will need to enter the values in the same fields. Okay. As discussed, we already discussed the TIPS validated tokens, the DSKPP security channel for the token activation, and the ANSI the compliance for the tokens as well. Last thing is the multi-tenant. Okay, we already discussed multi-tenant. You will need multi-tenant if you have different environments. If you like production and tests, so you can deploy the multi-tenant, or if you want to deploy different policies for different virtual servers, you can use it as well. Or if you are a service provider, so that is why it's calling service provider either PTE or SPE. So if you are a service provider, you can provide the SaaS as a service as well. Okay, here the branding. So all the interfaces in the SaaS can be branded. So the service portal can be branded with the customer logo. You can change all the fonts. Even the admin console, you can change everything on it, from the color, from the fonts, from the logos. So it's you can brand anything which you want. Okay, you can even customize the SMS messages, and you can customize the email. Um, so it has a lot of features here. How the product licensing work and how to build a bill of material. So that is the easiest part. It's only 2 slides. So from the you will need first to know the number of users. This is the main one. Then the hardware tokens if required. So if it's not required, if the customer needs to use only the software token and the mobile application, there is no need to define any. It's the what I want to say, the software come included with the user license. Number of years of subscription. So you can have 1, 2, or 3 years. At the end, you have the support type, either the standard or the plus. Basically, the main difference between the standard and the support. So you have here all the difference, but just to save time, here you have like a 8x5 support, so it depends on the region coverage, and you have here 24/7, and 1 hour response for the critical issues, and 4 hours response for the high issues. You have, by the way, for when you raise a ticket, you have like 4 different levels of support, depend on the issue. But in the standard support, you have like 8 hours response time. So at the end, this is all the difference for your reference. This is how to build the bill of material. So mainly, you will see the DOQ only consists of 1 line, either with standard support, SaaS with a standard support, or with a plus support. That's it. So it's very simple. If you need hardware tokens, you can choose from those hardware tokens. So we have the OTP 110. So this is a black keychain hardware token. You have time and event based. You can request as you the time based. That means the OTP value is being changed in a certain in a specific time. So if you generate OTP value, you have expiry time for it. For example, you need to insert it within 1 minute. If you didn't insert it within 1 minute, it will be expired. For the event, if you have the OTP, you can use it at any time, so that we can consider the time based. It's more secure. Okay. For the KT token, it's like a metal kind. The OTP 110, it's a plastic token. The KT4, it's the same format, but it's a metal kind of token. For the gold token, it's a token with a pin pad, so you can insert the pin in the same token. Of course, if you Google any of these tokens over internet, you will be able to see how it looks like. For the display card, it's like a card which you can keep in your wallet. So once you press a button in this card, you will be able to see the OTP. Last thing, there is something called initializer for the KT4 token. For this initializer, it's responsible for when you get the hardware tokens, our thales support team will send you something called the seed files. The seed file, this is the how the mechanism, how the hardware token will generate the OTP. But if you want to initialize a hardware token on-prem, you can do that through the this KT4 initializer. Okay. Now we will jump to the SafeNet Trusted Access. I will go more faster as it has most of the. By the way, the SafeNet Trusted Access, as I said, this is the cloud version. So the SafeNet Authentication Service is the on-prem. SafeNet Trusted Access is the cloud version. As you can see here, there is the Star Basic. The Star Basic, we can sell it for the new customers. We can sell it, but only for the existing customer, which with the renewals. It's exactly the same as the on-prem solution. Okay, the same interface, the same features, same everything. Here we have the SafeNet Trusted Access, which is the normal one. So if for the new customer, we can sell either the SafeNet Trusted Access or the SafeNet Trusted Access Premium. So as you can see here, there is Windows integrated single sign-on for Kerberos, so we can integrate the domain access through Kerberos. So once you logged into your domain, you can have a single sign-on, but it's smart single sign-on. I will explain it in the next slide. You can, as I said, in the SafeNet Trusted Access, from its name, you can have access management. That means depending on your location, depending on your device, and a lot of other factors, you can have access or no. So as you can see here, this is all the conditions, locations, device, operating system, if this is known device or no, is it trusted device or no, and other device control. We will see it in the next slide in details. For the single sign-on in the main SaaS, it depends on the session timeout. So once you the session timeout, you will have you will be locked out from the enterprise resource. But in the single sign-on in the SafeNet Trusted Access, as I said, it's smart single sign-on. That's you can, for different application, you can apply it. So you will see it in more details in the next slide as well. For the one last thing here, for the SafeNet Trusted Access Premium, what is the only difference between it and the normal SafeNet Trusted Access is the certificate-based PKI authentication. It's called CBA. Okay. So for the certificate-based authentication, this is a quick slide. So you can use any. We also offer the USB token or the smart cards. We can offer use the smart card readers. So this is like a summary of the certificate-based authentication which we can offer, and it can be used with the SafeNet Trusted Access Premium Edition. Okay. Okay, for the SafeNet Trusted Access, as I said, it has more features, and it can only give access based on the context. So based on what is your situation and what is your device situation and which groups you are belong to. After checking all of these factors, you can have access to the enterprise resources. Okay. So how it looks like. First, you will have like a lot of predefined applications. So you can, first thing you will need to define which application you want to protect. I will show you the specific link which you can browse and see all the applications supported currently. And just for your info, all of these applications, it's integrated through SAML. So even if you have a specific application which is not listed in this list, you can still use the generic SAML for template. For the scenario-based access policy enforcement, why it's called scenario-based? Because, as I said, it depends on the condition and based on the scenario. Okay, so to make it faster, I will jump to this slide. You can see here what I mean or how it works. So first thing, you will need to define the target application and users and groups. Okay, and after that, it depends on the policy which do you define in the stack. So this is the user group, for example. So if the user belongs to this user group, and he will have access only to these defined applications. And depending on these conditions, he will. I can define this user can have grant access, or I can deny him. after authentication, after authenticating using the factors. You can use the password, which is the domain password. And by the way, when I say the star can authenticate the domain password, the sync agent is synchronizing the passwords to that star, but it's not the password itself. It's a hash value of the password. So that if the customer asked you, it's like a security issue in synchronizing the password, you can tell him just it's synchronizing a hash value, not the domain password itself. So the first thing, the star can verify first the domain password, and as you can see, it can only once per session, or you can do it every time. And when I say, as you can see here, it's only for those applications. That means I can make another policy for another applications. So maybe these applications, as you can see, I make it every access attempt. But maybe for other non-critical application, I make it once per session. I don't want the user to insert the domain password each time. Okay. And after the domain password verification, I will verify the one-time passwords. Okay, so I can make as well once per session or every access attempt. Okay, and after defining the policy, I will be able to monitor how the user authentication looks like. So how many failed authentications I can monitor it per application as well. So depend on my monitoring, and I can come back and adjust everything, the policies, the configuration, everything. Okay. So this is how the managing the risk looks like. For what is in the policy, what can I define to be checked in the star? I can define the network, so I can define specific IP addresses or IP address range to be if the authentication request coming from this IP range. This is the first factor. I can define as well the operating system, for example, or the request should be from a Windows, or I can define even the mobile operating systems. The user device, so I can check if this device has been used before or not, so it's known and trusted device, or it's the first time. So if this device is a new device for that user, I can force strong authentication, or if it has been used several times before, so it will be trusted, I can make a less security. Okay, so and depend on the location. So if the user are accessing from his country, he can have specific authentication mechanism. If he is accessing from outside his country, he can have stronger authentication. Okay, so all of these factors which can define what is the security policy will be applied on the user access. Now, what is the smart single sign-on? The smart single sign-on. What is the simple single sign-on? The simple single sign-on, that means when I have access, I will have access to all of the application, like as I said, ADFS, the Microsoft Single Sign-On Service. If I access it, I can access all applications. But the smart single sign-on, if you can see here in the comparison, first in the security risk, if the single sign-on credential is compromised, all applications are vulnerable. So yeah, if I just have access, or if I gain the credential for the single sign-on, I will be able to access all the applications. And of course, this is not secure. But in the smart single sign-on, I can define special, for example, if I have critical applications, I can apply specific high security policy for it. And if I have the secure applications that requires the security, I can apply different policies. So it depends on the conditions, I can apply the security policy. This is the smart single sign-on. lack of visibility. So in the normal single sign-on, the user can I can't track which application the user gain access or what happened within this application. By in the SAR, I can track the user behavior per application. So I can know, for example, how many times the user entered his credential, entered a wrong credential for that application, and based on this behavior, and can I adjust the policy for this specific application, and etc. Open access, one single access policy for all users and application. But in the smart single sign-on side, as you saw, that I can define several policies depending on what I need. For the point authentication, the user has the same method of authentication to the to access all the services. But as you saw in the smart single sign-on, I can define, for example, the domain password. I can enter it once per session, or can I insert it each time? I can define as well the same for the OTP, or I can use the Kerberos. I can use the certificate-based authentication, depend on if the user has a certificate-based authentication tokens. I have a lot of methods for the authentication, but on the simple single sign-on side, I just can insert my username, password, and that's it. Okay, in the smart single sign-on, the user will have like a portal as well. But first, as you can see here, depending on logging from the office with a single click, or logging from home with the OTP. So for logging from home, I want to apply extra security. So the user should insert OTP. But from logging from home, I'm using only the domain password. Sorry, from office, I'm using only the domain password. So the central user portal. So for the central user portal, I can see all the applications which I can access, and depending on the application, I will have depending on the application, which policy would be applied on my access, as we discussed before in the security policy. But what I want to say here, there will be like a central user portal where he can see all the applications which he can access. Okay, for the use cases, as you see, there is a lot of use cases. The main integration is through SAML, and there is a SAML generic wizard, so you can integrate any SAML application. And if you access this link, you can see all the integration guides for the all the supported integrations till now. Okay. How to build the bill of material and how licensing works. So there is only one difference here from the SaaS. So as you can see here, you should choose either the Star or Star Premium, but all of the others are the same as the SaaS. So we already discussed what is the difference between Star and Star Premium. Star Premium, it has the certificate-based authentication. So you should choose Star Premium if you only need the certificate-based authentication. Okay. So in the bill of materials, so instead of 2 options, now you will have 4 options. Star, 2 options for Star and 2 options for Star Premium. It will depend on the support level, either 8x5 or 24x7 for both. Okay, and of course the hardware tokens, it's the same as the SaaS. Okay, so in time, I will now. I don't know. We have 2 options for the. I can review the questions now, or I can respond it to you back through email. It depends on if you have time. We can spend more time in the questions. what you recommend?
Hey, Samir, this is Lucky. So maybe
Yes.
we have only three questions which we can
Yeah, yeah.
address now.
Sure,
And
sure. No
guys,
problem.
if you have any other question, please raise your hand, and Samir can try to help answer it right away. Otherwise,
Sure.
if you have still any specific questions, you can send an email to Samir. You already have his email address, and if you have any opportunity or you want something more like I would say more technical in the depth, so for any features or you want to talk about or you want to learn about, so you can send him an email also. And this is a
Okay.
basic webinar for the product, and the advanced will be going to come in the next series. So yes, Samir, please go ahead.
Thank you, Lucky. So why the Oracle Access Manager agent is not listed? Yeah, sorry for that, but it's sure it's included with the latest version. The major differences between the remote desktop gateway and the Windows login agent. It's the first one is the deployment, how you will deploy. At the end, the service is the same. So it's the reason behind them is the remote desktop. So from the user experience, it's the same. But if the customer don't have the remote desktop gateway, so you can use the Windows login agent. So it's only from the deployment perspective. But you will gain remote desktop services from both of them. But the Windows login, it has one more advantage, that it protects the local access as well. Okay. How does it support push notification-based authentication? As I explained, it's from the mobile application. So once you have the mobile pass application on your phone, you can have the push notification as well. But let me explain more in this point, because if you are deploying it from the on-prem, from the SaaS, so you will need to, if you saw the self-service and self-enrollment server in the DMZ, so you will need to do specific configuration on that server to be able to reach the push service in the internet. So we'll provide you a specific kind of certificate, which you will need to install in the SaaS server. And after that, the SaaS server can reach the push notification service. It depends on the iOS or Android, or I mean the Google. Then you will have the push notification working on your mobile application. For the cloud version, of course, no need to do any of this stuff, because it will be already supported out of the box. Okay. We also need to understand how it integrates with Office 365 and Outlook on Windows 10. So in Office 365, it will be based on the SAML integration. By the way, if you see the link which I mentioned in the integration slide, you will see how you can integrate with the step-by-step configuration guide. So you will be able to see all the steps required for the integration. And for the Outlook, as I said, if most of the environments, the Outlook, it's authenticate from the Active Directory. In that case, we can't do anything. But if the Outlook, I mean the Exchange server, is authenticating from the Active Directory Federation service, you can have the OTP verification as well. So it depends on.
Sorry, Ahmed.
Yes,
I meant Outlook
application
client,
or
the thick client,
yes,
which is integrating with your Office 365 emails.
Okay, so it's the same case. So in that case, most of the Office 365 integration with the SaaS, it's through the SAML, or it can be also through the ADFS. So because I faced it in many of the customer sites. So if it's authenticating from the ADFS, so you can simply deploy the ADFS agent and then apply the one-time password verification. So this is one kind of integration, but you can find more in the link which I shared with you. Okay, and it's very, very detailed guides. If there is something you didn't understand, please get back to me. Okay, agent we can generate from SaaS package or direct download from the Access portal. You can get the agents from both. So if you download the SaaS package, you will be able to get the agents, but you can download it as well from the support portal. And you don't you can download it without credential. You no need to log into the support portal to get the agents. Okay. Also, many customers asking about support for biometric-based authentication. For the biometric-based authentication, we have two solutions. The first one, in the mobile pass application, you can, to be able to get the OTP value, you can use your fingerprint instead of the PIN. So this is one factor. On the other side, we recently released new smart cards, which you can, but this is for the certificate-based authentication. So you can save the, okay, so as I just must concentrate here because it's totally different solution, which than the one which I was discussing. So this smart card, you can save your fingerprint on the chip of the smart card. And if you want to use a smart card for authentication, you must insert your fingerprint through a fingerprint reader connected to your PC. Okay, so it's different solution. But if you are speaking regarding the SaaS, it's only applicable through the mobile pass application. Okay, the NPS agent on the SaaS server is recommended. It's just to minimize the number of the servers, and it will do the same job. You will achieve the high availability as well as minimizing the number of the required servers for installation. So yes, I can recommend it. If we publish in server in DMZ for enrollment, which are the services need to remove from the IIS, you can remove all the services, but only keep the self-enrollment and the self-service. So this is the only two services which you will need to keep, and all other than that you can disable. If we publish, okay, that's done. We were told that the push notification is supported by the new version of the SaaS PCE software. Yes, it's supported in the from some time back, maybe 1 year back. The push notification is supported in the SaaS PCE. Can we publish the enrollment URL with the web application secure? Can we publish the enrollment URL with web applications? Yes, if you have like a kind of proxy, reverse proxy, you can publish that. So I saw some of the deployments where the customer used the reverse proxy to publish the self-enrollment as service links. So yes, you can do that. It is another option other than the DMZ installation. And also, if you have like a limited number of servers, you can do that option. What is the requirement of for synchronizing the user from SQL? It's only you can use the sync agent for that, but you will need to organize do like some kind of mapping between the users stored in the SQL to be synchronized to the SaaS. So there will be some kind of mapping to do that. That is similar to if you're, for example, if your Active Directory is sometimes it is not in the native format, so you need to do this kind of mapping. So the sync agent is supporting to do the user mapping configuration. Okay, does SQL has to be with a specific schema? Yes, of course. Or you can define the map a specific kind of mapping, and also it's in the documentation. It's mentioned specifically how you can achieve that. Can SaaS integrate with SAP HANA? SAP HANA, I'm not sure. It depends on the authentication mechanism which SAP HANA
Yes, it can via
yeah.
Radius.
Via Radius? Okay, great. Thanks. I'm not sure that SAP HANA supports Radius, but if it's supporting, so it can. Thank you for that. Is any manual method of for the enrollment in the portal is any manual method of for the enrollment in the portal is not published available? Manual method. If you say manual method, you mean to assign tokens for the users manually? Yes, you can do that. But I'm feeling that I didn't get the question in the right way. Is any manual method for the enrollment? If the portal is not published. Okay, so maybe you can use the hardware tokens. So you can assign the hardware tokens manually, but any other like mobile application or even for any other activation method, you should publish the enrollment portal. But if you are using the hardware tokens, so you can assign it directly to the user without need to and the SMS, of course. For the SMS tokens, so you have two options: either the SMS tokens or the hardware tokens. So this is the only two methods which you can use if you don't want to publish the self-enrollment link. Okay. Push OTP supported in on-prem. Yes, it's supported. A lot of apps like SAP HANA can use Radius, which we integrate with. That's possibly is. Okay, thank you. Yes, so yes, if it's supporting Radius, thank you for thank you, Cass. Is hardware is different for time-based and event-based? Yes, the hardware you can when you order it for the OTP 110, you have two options: time-based and event-based. And yes, it's different. So you should know before which one you need, and based on that, you can order it. So as I explained, the time-based so this OTP value is only available to be used within 1 minute. But if this 1 minute has passed, you will not be able to use it. But for the event-based, you can once you generate the OTP, you can use it anytime. Okay, so yes, it's the hardware is different. Can we install logging agent on the SaaS server itself? Yes, you can. For high availability, do we choose 2 single units for SaaS and STA? There is no high availability for STA. So the high availability, we provide it as a service. For high availability, do we choose 2 single units for SaaS? If you 2 single units, you mean 2 servers? Yes, you need 2 Windows servers for the SaaS on-prem. But for STA, the high availability.
I mean on the BOM, on the bill of material, do we choose? Did you double it?
No, and no need to double the high availability. So it's only one, depending on number of users, and that's it. For the high availability, you will not need to mention anything. It's all maybe you will need to mention that for depend on the number of servers. So the number of servers in the SaaS language is called sites. So when you get the license from the support team, you will need only to tell them how many SaaS servers you will need to deploy, but there is no cost for it. Okay. Can we customize reports? Can you more explain on SDK folder? Yes. So customized reports, yes, the reports is fully customizable, so you can customize anything on it in the formatting, its content, etc. and you can, as I said, you can schedule it to get it automatically, weekly, monthly, as you want. And regarding the SDK folder, as I said, you if you have home developed applications, .NET or Java, we can provide you the API, which you will need to install in your application server to be integrated with the SaaS. We have one more SDK as well for the management. So, for example, if you have identity and access management from IBM or any other vendor, so you can use this management API to integrate with the SaaS. So, for example, for the user creation, for the token assignment, so these APIs can be used from the management, from the identity and access management, and the SaaS to create user or to assign tokens or to do any other functions. So all the functions on the SaaS, it's supported to be managed through the management API. Okay, so the SDK folder has three stuff. The first one, .NET API, second one, Java API, third one, the management API. When we will have the recording directly, I will upload it today, inshallah. So you will get it. The recording as well as the presentation through the SureDrop. I think all of you now have access to the SureDrop, so you will have the recording in the SureDrop. Can I use free OTP Red Hat or ANT other third-party software OTP? I'm not sure. What do you mean by? I don't know what is the free OTP. If it's like a service from Red Hat, which is I'm not sure from that. From this question from Mustafa, can I use a free OTP Red Hat or ANT other third-party software OTP? I don't know if you mean that like it's kind of built-in authentication service in Red Hat, but I think it's not related to the SaaS. So this question is not very clear to me. I think you sent something in the. I will need to discuss more what you mean by that question. Can I use a free OTP Red Hat or any other third-party software OTP? For this point, for if you mean the mobile application software, we support only third-party, which is the Google Authenticator. We don't support any other third-party mobile application software. Can we customize the OA page? Yes, everything can be customized. So, for example, the method which you can authenticate. So there is different methods. But yeah, if you are speaking about how the page will look like, yes, you can customize it, and we deliver it for many customers. Can we have this record, please? Yes, of course. Can a user have two token provision at the same time? If yes, how the user get OTP? Yes, the user can have multiple OTP included in the user license. The user can have, for example, SMS, mobile application. He can have mobile pass application, and he can have Google Authenticator. All of that included in the user license, and he can generate the OTP from any of his token and use it. So, for example, if I have SMS and mobile application, I can either trigger the SMS and take the OTP from the SMS, or if I can have hardware token, I can generate the OTP from the hardware token and use it. But and the SaaS will be able to authenticate any of your tokens. So, but yes, the answer to your question, you can have multiple tokens, okay, without extra charge, by the way. Free OTP is like a Google Authenticator. Okay. Yeah, as I told you, we only support Google Authenticator as a third party. Red Hat will provide. Okay. It is and okay. Thank you.
Amir?
Okay. Okay. So I think that's all. Sorry for
Samir,
taking. Yes. Yes. Please.
Yeah, Samir, I asked that question can user have a same, I mean, at the same time, two token provisioned, okay?
Yes.
Okay, now
Yeah.
the understanding is actually, so you mean to say if I get SMS, OTP as SMS, okay?
Yes. Yes.
At the same time, I can use the mobile pass and generate the OTP, and I can use the mobile pass OTP to log in. You mean to say both will work, correct?
Yes. Both will work. You can use any of them.
Oh, okay, fine.
Clear?
Thank you.
Okay. Most welcome. Can we enroll offline? Yes. There is two for the Google Authenticator. When we say enroll offline, that means, for example, for the mobile application, Google Authenticator can be enrolled offline. What does it mean? Enroll offline. That means you will be able to see QR code in the enrollment link. When you scan the QR code with your Google Authenticator, your Google Authenticator will be activated. That means no need for the mobile, your mobile, to reach the self-service, self-enrollment server. But at the end, you will need to publish the self-enrollment at service page. Okay. So, but offline enrollment in the mobile pass case, the mobile pass application will need to reach the self-enrollment server. But so this is the main difference between the Google Authenticator and mobile pass. But if you ask me, mobile pass is more secure because the activation, it's the enrollment process, it's more secure than the Google Authenticator. And one more thing in the mobile pass, so the mobile pass, it has the push notification. Google Authenticator don't support push notification. So, but if the offline enrollment, it's only supported in the Google Authenticator. Okay. Any other questions?
Yes,
Okay,
Samir, one more question. I have one more question.
Yes, please.
Under the token, I can see mobile pass and one more MP or something. What is that MP? I saw somewhere. It is there something like that, or
Mobile pass, sorry, MP. Mobile pass,
yeah,
MP, that means MP means mobile pass.
but under the token, I can show that both is there, MP and mobile pass. I thought it's same, but it was two entries as there. I don't know exactly. I'm not sure exactly.
You are seeing it from where? From your mobile or from what? Are you searching for it from your mobile, or I didn't get you?
No,
yeah,
actually, when we go for the provision the token.
Yes.
Okay. So I have option SMS. I have option.
Yeah. Sorry. I get your point now. So the MP is something different. It's but it's all kind of tokens. It's not related to the mobile pass. The mobile pass is the mobile application. MP is something all kind of tokens was more related to the SMS tokens. So, but it's not more supported now.
Okay, fine.
So yeah,
Thank
the MP is not the mobile pass.
Okay, thank you.
Most welcome. Okay, gents, any other questions? Okay, I think that's it. Of course, if you have any question at any time, you can reach me. You already have my email. And I will share the recording of the session as well as the presentation through the SureDrop. And yeah, thank you again for joining, and thank you for your time. Wish you nice weekends. Okay, thank you guys.
Thank you. Thanks, Ahmed.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.